Alright, interns. Company policy states you must watch the following video package, so shut up and enjoy.
Welcome to Hellcore, the unhappiest plane in all of cosmology. Here at Hellcore, we pride ourselves on making stereotypical bad guys to fight and heavy-handed tragic backstories fit for any character. Want to sell your soul for limitless power? Gain riches beyond your wildest dreams? Burn to death in a luxury volcano? The Nine Hells is the place to be, so don't delay. Sell your soul today.
The Nine Hells is the insurance agency of the Forgotten Realms, where insuring your soul here is as bad as working for an actual insurance company. There are various floor managers spanning the 9 layers fighting for supremacy, and there's one big boss below who controls everyone in a big game of musical chairs. Except, in this game, everyone wants the boss's chair, and all the music is screaming. The lore of Baator is a little contradictory, but essentially, back at the start of creation, a young and powerful fiend named Asmodeus killed the former ancientest evilest guy around and claimed a shard of pure evil. He then went to Big Daddy Primus with his new power, and declared he wanted his own realm to rule. Primus, absolutely terrified, agreed. Sort of. See, Primus didn't believe Asmodeus would be a good boy and stick to only one realm, so he gave him what he wanted, but with a few caveats. The biggest of which being if Asmodeus wanted to do any evil, he needed to ask permission first. Asmodeus didn't really like this deal, but figured what goes better with pure evil than organized bureaucracy. So he agreed, and Baator was created. The Nine Hells is both Asmodeus' kingdom and prison, as he can never get anything done. He wants to rule the universe, but he's always kept too busy trying to organize the little gremlins he shares his domain with, and he can't get them to do what he says, because they're all assholes. Specifically, these assholes, the Devils. Devils are a bit like Wall Street traders. They start off as weak little putties, but if they're good and kiss enough ass, they can be promoted to more powerful physical forms, so long as their supervisor agrees. The mortal souls who've done some evil work experience are often born into more powerful physical forms, like a diabolic form of nepotism. They come in all shapes, sizes and colours, and each have their own collection of powers their form grants them. To rattle off a few of the more interesting devil types, we have Goo Boys, Batmen, guys with beards, guys without beards, cold bugs, hot horses, gym bros, politicians, goth women, dragons, horny boys, and archdevils. Archdevils are like the executive managers. They each govern one of the 9 layers of hell, and each layer is shaped by their personality. So before you sell your soul to us, let's take the guided tour, and go all the way from the top down to the bottom.
Floor number 1, Avernus. We hope you like violence.
Easily accessible and full of exciting things to do, Avernus is the most frequently visited lair of Baator. It's where the river Styx connects, where the Blood War is fought, where Zariel and Tiamat live, where Karlach from Baldur's Gate 3 got stuck, and where that city one time descended into. It's got some vegetation and wildlife, mostly snakes, but it's predominantly lava, brimstone, metal death traps, and dark fortresses. The whole place is a bit like Mad Max, but more on fire. Zariel is Queen Bitch around here. She's actually an angel who dived into hell with her loyal paladins to help out in fighting the Blood War. But since that was never ending, she eventually was corrupted by the dark magic of the 9 Hells. Now a fallen angel, she's still fighting that Blood War, and it all spills out on her doorstep so she never gets a chance to have a day off. Almost everyone loyal to her saw her turn all evil and gross, and so they abandoned her. And she's got a real revenge problem because of it. Unable to trust or care for anyone anymore, she shuns any chance of redemption she might have by being a grade A bitch. Technically not a devil by birth, she's not into making deals, and often when she does, it involves her throwing a bunch of lads at the problem until it goes away. She also doesn't partake in a whole lot of scheming against Asmodeus. She's far too busy building massive armies and keeping her giant dragon roommate happy.
Floor number 2, Dis. P.U.
Dis sucks. It's all black rivers of tar, stinking acidic skies, and constant storms. The Iron City is the only thing here, and since it's very hot and it's made of metal, you do not want to touch it. It houses prisoners of the Blood War and devils who've lied to their managers, and they are punished by having to listen to the dull ramblings of the reigning archdevil, Dispater. At the top of his big tower, Dispater sits and schemes to take over Asmodeus' throne of hell. But he is so careful and methodical that he's never actually enacted any sort of coup. You see, by the time he's made a foolproof plan he believes in, 10,000 years have passed and the plan no longer works. He's a paranoid guy, and so his fortress is completely impregnable, making sure that no one ever visits him. He likes to think of himself as a suave and charming mastermind, but in reality he's an anxious and indecisive middle manager at best. He's often too busy torturing people to make any pacts, but he does make for a good spooky counsel to emperors seeking to hold on to their power. Just don't let him talk for too long. He is really boring.
Lore number 3, Minauros. Ugh, so gross.
Minauros is a place even the devils fear. Its sickly green swamps are a breeding ground for such cursed things that the devils don't even know what they are anymore, but it scares them so much even they avoid touching it. The lord of this fetid wasteland is Mammon, the greediest bastard who ever lived. He never wastes a single copper piece on anything that isn't vital to his interests. And so instead of paying to fix his city that is slowly sinking into the bog, he works his slaves to death by constantly rebuilding his crumbling walls and washing the poison from his streets. Mammon sits on a mountain of riches that will never be spent and surrounds himself with yes-men to approve of his frugal form of evil, a bit like Mr. Burns. He likes deals that involve money and nothing else. In fact, he cares more for money than the souls he's corporately mandated to harvest. He would try to overthrow Asmodeus if it was profitable, but he doesn't want to spend any money to make it happen. So I doubt we'll see much of him while he spends his days investing in cryptocurrency.
Floor number 4, Phlegethos. Oh, Minecraft.
That's right, Gina. Volcanoes, red cracked earth, a cavernous ceiling, and full of bastards, Phlegethos is just the Minecraft nether. It is ruled over by the worst daddy-daughter duo in all of creation, and the only layer to feature 2 rulers, Fianna and Belial. Belial is a charming and intelligent schemer, and is essentially the closest thing you'll get to a classic Satan allegory. He loves wine, fine print contracts, and making people believe he's cool and sexy. And let's be honest, he is. His radiant daughter Fianna could almost pass for a human, if it wasn't for her being about 7 feet tall and having a pair of spiky horns. She's hot, and she knows it, and as such uses the fact that people can't stop staring at her tits to outsmart them, before she flays them alive. She's an unstable and emotionally abusive brat, so her father tidies up her messes while she deceives his enemies. And as such, they're a shockingly good team. Their pacts often involve lies, deception, and charm, as it's what they're best at. They would make the perfect candidates to overthrow Asmodeus, if Fianna could keep her temper in check, and if Belial would stop mewing.
Floor number 5, Stygia. Can we go home?
Stygia is what happens when hell freezes over. This realm is a bottomless ocean covered with ice, and it's the only other layer to feature a path through the river Styx. People make their homes here on floating icebergs and big iron ships as they sail around endlessly in the void of darkness. This plane is unlike the others, as it has no real archdevil to give it any direction anymore. You see, its boss Levistus was frozen in a block of ice, and everyone here just sort of sits around catching fish waiting for him to thaw out. He used to call himself the Prince of Hell and schemed to take the whole thing over, so Asmodeus came down, turned him into a fiendsicle, and reminded everyone who the Big Daddy really is. All Levistus is good for now is projecting his consciousness to dying mortals, offering deals to preserve their lives. Probably because he's lonely. Stygia is isolated from all the other layers except for by sailing down the river Styx. This means that no one's bothered to come take it over for themselves because A, it sucks, B, you have to sail the Grand Line to get there, and C, it's got a frozen previous tenant bobbing in the water. A powerful devil called Geryon tries to govern things while his master is currently indisposed, but he's not the real boss, so no one listens to him. Tough luck, Geryon.
Oh, thank Hades, Malbolge. Every night is girls' night.
Ah, the party capital of the 9 hells. This layer is on an annoying 45-degree tilt, so walking anywhere is either a constant incline or a tumble down an endless hill. The party queen here is Glacia, Asmodeus' very own daughter, and she lives in her big sorority house with a bunch of powerful hags, witches, and succubi. It's like Mean Girls. Except these girls will just kill you. Instead of ruling by strength, Glacia and some of her more powerful sisters control armies of loyal devils they have seduced into doing their bidding instead. Her deals made often involve making people fall in love, or changing how one looks. She actually has very few goals outside of enjoying the luxuries hell has to offer, and so she roams about the plains with her entourage of simps, enjoying wine and parties. She's the daughter of a rich CEO, and I love and hate her for it. She is still an evil, abusive, and sadistic piece of trash, but compared to the other devils around here, she's surprisingly tame. Just don't get on her bad side, she's not the only one you'll be upsetting.
Floor number 7. Whatever you do it.
Maladomini is the lair of lost potential. It's a continent of endless half-completed citadels and castles, and the whole place is covered in shit. No, literally. Its Lord Balzabul was once a normal devil, but when he plotted a great plan to take over the Hells and it failed, Asmodeus turned him into a giant, gross slug. Every lie he told during his grand scheme forces him to work even more years in slug overtime, and every time he moves he emits a cloud of stinking goo and flies. He's awful. He makes deals, unsurprisingly, that involve treachery and backstabbing, despite his terrible track record. He is doomed to never finish anything he starts, and all his old projects have fallen into ruin around him. And as such, he lives in a palace made of poop, eats poop, and all his followers are covered in poop. It's the poop layer. Moving on.
Do this one.
Gina, you're drunk. It's your fucking job.
Oh, I'm tired. Take me home.
Just read what's on the
I
script.
don't want to read the fucking announcement.
Cania is often forgotten about because it's a bit like Stygia, but not as interesting. It features endless mountains instead of a bottomless ocean, but is still cold, barren, and completely awful. It's also way colder than Stygia, so ensure you bring a warm jacket. Somewhere out in the icy wilderness, there lies a luxurious tower with central heating, and it is home to Baator's biggest nerd, Mephistopheles. He wants to know everything about everything, as maybe that will let him finally take the throne of hell from the big guy sitting one layer down. His tower is full of books and scrolls, and he may actually be the smartest man in all of creation. However, he is still a big loser playing second fiddle to Asmodeus, his lair sucks, and no one's his friend. The only people who ever bothered to make deals with him are other nerds, and his offers always seem to involve you giving him more bloody books. He could, if pushed, pose a very dangerous arcane threat to Asmodeus' kingdom, if he wasn't busy finishing his 7th reread of the Harry Potter series. And finally, we have come to the bottom. Nessus. Nessus is what would happen if you smashed all those previous layers together. Cold fire, lava oceans, lightning storms, giant cliffs. It has it all. Here we finally catch up once again with Asmodeus, right at the very bottom of his hell funnel, sitting all miserable and paranoid. He's everything you'd expect from the ultimate devil. He's mean, violent, controlling, and very, very sexy.
Yeah, he is.
Fun fact, this is not really Asmodeus. He's actually a giant miles-long snake, but that form can't sit on cute thrones or talk very well, so he made this, his eternal devil Sona. He is forced to try and govern the 9 layers of lying and scheming arseholes from the very bottom, while fending off constant attempts to murder him. His existence kind of sucks, just as Primus intended. Eventually, he wishes to govern all of creation, as he intends on building his perfect paradise. But he has so far been unsuccessful in finding a way to properly govern the one realm he was originally given. He does have the potential to rule the whole universe, but with the blood war raging, backstabbing archdevils, obligation to farm souls, and needing permission to do anything actually evil, we've got plenty of time before he figures it out. And with that, our tour of Baator is completed. The varied inhabitants of this stinking pit and the constant change in themes make it a great adventure setting, and it provides endless character motivations ranging from warlock pacts all the way to revenge stories and rescue missions. So if Baator seems like the place for you, why not subscribe and sell your soul today? I'll make sure to find you a comfortable pit to crawl into in our delightful hellhome. All that's left to say is thank you for stopping by Hellcorp. We appreciate your time, don't we, Gina?
Go fuck yourself.
Alright then, and if my YouTube analytics are anything to go by, I'll see all of you in about 50 to 60 years.
Bye bye.
Ta-ta!